Order. Give the call to the member for Pearce.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Deputy Prime Minister. How is the Albanese Labor government investing in greater capability for the Australian Defence Force to keep Australians safe? And how does this compare to other approaches? Thank you.
The call to the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister for Defence.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Tonight's budget contains an increase in defence spending of $5.7 billion, which on its own terms is the single largest increase in defence spending over a 4-year cycle in decades. It far outstrips any increases that we saw over the lost decade when those opposite were in power. And, Mr Speaker, this is an inconvenient truth which sticks in their craw because, from their perspective, this is just not how it's meant to be. And this forms part of a $12.1 billion increase over 10 years, which is also in the budget. And when you combine that with the decisions that were taken in last year's budget, over the next decade, we will see an additional $50 billion spent on defence relative to what we inherited when we came to power. Now, Mr Speaker, those opposite have refused to commit to that increase. The Shadow Minister, in his desperation, is literally saying anything, but as recently as Sunday, the Shadow Treasurer could not have been clearer that the Liberals are refusing to commit to this increase. And all the while, the Shadow Minister, Senator Patterson, is left to be the one who is out there making speeches about Liberal defence policy. They are a mess, and they are falling back on their pathetic, tired whimpers that they'll always be the party which spends more on defence, just as they are always the party of lower taxation. But everyone in this chamber knows that it is precisely the opposite which is the case. Because when they last presided over the Treasury benches, they ran a government which grossly underfunded defence. Whether we are talking about guided weapons, increases in Defence Force personnel or more ships, every one of those announcements that they made was underfunded by billions and billions of dollars. Mr Speaker, the truth of the matter is that it is the Albanese Labor government which is delivering a tax cut to every working Australian. It is the Albanese Labor government which has delivered 2 budget surpluses in a row. And it is the Albanese Labor government which is delivering historic increases in defence spending. The Liberals were big on defence marketing and defence politics, but it is the Albanese Labor government which is committed to doing what it takes to keep Australians safe.